Hi, I'm Gopu Prakash. I'm a senior director at Acuver. I oversee the enterprise professional services at Acuver. We are a group of people who implements order management solutions, warehouse management solutions, and manage services of both these applications. I have a couple of decades of experience implementing order management solutions across the globe, most prominently in the North American region and in India. Have got experience in the Asia Pacific as well as Europe region as well.
Hi, I'm Bharat Rajagopalan, also a senior director at Acuver. I lead Acuver's European practice and jointly oversee our global order management practice with Gopu. Bring over 20 years of experience in delivering large-scale omnichannel and digital transformation programs across the UK, Europe, and the United States, and notably have worked as an SME across more than 10 major order management implementations.
What are the biggest causes of uncertainty in today's supply chain, and how do they affect order management?
That's a banger to start with. So, customer expectations have fundamentally shifted. Aggressive fulfillment timelines are now the norm. Omnichannel isn't a differentiator anymore, it's just expected. And at the same time, the world we are operating in has just become that much more unpredictable. There's a growing need for supply chains that aren't just efficient, but resilient, more reactive, more adaptive, and self-healing when disruptions happen. Because disruptions aren't just the exception anymore. They're actually part of the operating environment.
You work closely with clients and IBM team across Europe. Are customer expectations different in different regions, or are they becoming more similar worldwide?
So customer expectations aren't uniform. They are shaped by geography and culture. So take Europe as an example, a mix of urban markets where expectations have definitely moved towards faster fulfillment. May not be as extreme as what we see in India or parts of Asia, for example, 15-minute delivery windows, but definitely next day delivery and increasingly same day delivery, especially in the UK. It has become more common than it was a few years ago. That being said, expectations are also influenced by cultural norms, local regulations. So in India, it's not unusual to get something delivered in 15 minutes, even late at night, but that is just not feasible in most parts of Europe, not just because of demand, but also because of regulatory constraints and operating norms.
And this is where things get even more complex, because you're not just dealing with customer expectations, you're also operating within a very specific regional and regulatory realities. So the use case isn't uniform. It is often tailored or templatized for different markets. Take something like global deliveries. In markets like the US or Australia, it's quite common for shipments to cross multiple time zones between source and destinations. That adds a layer of complexity to the promise accuracy. You need to account for the time zone shifts to ensure that you commit to the customer is actually achievable. Contrast that with Western Europe, you don't typically have the same challenge. And then there is the operational constraints like workforce and labor laws. Even something like capacity management in a warehouse isn't just about throughput anymore. It has to reflect local regulations around working hours, shifts, compliance requirements. So you are constantly balancing customer expectations with operational feasibility and regulatory constraints. And that balance looks very different depending on where you are.
What is the biggest misconception people have about order management today?
Well, when people hear about order management, they often think about customer facing pieces like the call center, the order, creating of the order, modifying it, canceling it. But the real heart of the OMS is much deeper than that. It's all about the fulfillment orchestration, figuring out how to actually deliver on the promise you've made to the customer and doing it in the most cost effective way. So it's not just about capturing the order. It's about intelligently deciding where to fulfill it from, how to route it, how to adapt when things inevitably change.
Can you tell us more about the order management practice in Acuver Consulting?
Today, most enterprises are struggling not because of lack of systems. They're struggling because those systems don't communicate fast enough. don't adapt quickly enough, and don't scale intelligently when demand shifts. At Acuver, that's exactly the problem we focus on in our enterprise professional services practice. It's really about orchestrating very complex journeys across inventory, marketplaces, stores, logistics providers, and all the different customer touch points. It goes beyond just configuring workflows. Our teams are engineering resilient architectures, build API first integrations, enabling real time visibility, automating exception handling, and increasingly embedding AI driven decision making into fulfillment operations. That's also where platforms like ACOM come into play. They help move organizations from reactive operations to truly intelligent orchestration. Because the future of OMS isn't just about processing orders anymore. It is about enabling adaptability, speed, connected decision making across entire enterprise.
It's really true. And if I just take a European perspective, what we're seeing is that businesses are increasingly looking for agility, but without disruption to their ongoing operations. They want systems that can evolve continuously with changing customer expectations, regulatory requirements, sustainability goals, and the growing complexity of omnichannel. What really stands out about Acuver is how we bring together consulting-led order management expertise with execution-driven digital engineering. We don't just implement a standalone OMS platform. We try to look at it holistically. We combine deep domain expertise in order management, strong core engineering capabilities, and of course, ACOM, our AI-driven orchestration platform, is built on a foundation of intelligent integration, data standardization, enabling us to deliver truly end-to-end solutions. These are not isolated, but fully integrated into the broader enterprise landscape, enabling faster time to market while reducing dependency on, and very importantly, reducing disruption to our customers' existing legacy landscape. So we see at Acuver, we do look at order management as a strategic transformation capability. It's not just a back-end operational function as many others deem it.
When it comes to delivery disruption, what is the biggest challenge today? Operational disruptions or technology related disruptions?
So I think when we talk about supply chain solutions, at the end of the day, it really comes down to people. Systems do matter, no doubt about it. But the real challenges aren't system failures. They are operational realities. So that's where order management becomes really critical. Think of it less as a system of record, more of a system of resolution. Its role is to handle exceptions, to bring some order, right, to what is often controlled chaos when you're coordinating warehouses, carriers, suppliers, customers, whatnot. The reality is things will go wrong. COVID-19, a warehouse shuts down during quarantine. A carrier route gets delayed, a shipment gets delayed, supplier misses a commitment, right? That's the point when order management becomes an engine of control. It helps you decide, can we reroute this order and still meet the promise? Do we renegotiate? Or we just have to cancel? That's the only viable option. It's about balancing operational constraints versus customer expectations, but doing it in a way that preserves trust.
AI is a major topic across industries today. So, how do you see AI helping organizations manage disruptions and improve the overall supply chain experience?
Exactly. And this is where things start to break down with traditional approaches, which is deterministic, rule-based solutions. They work to a point, but as supply chains become more and more complex, adding more and more rules just makes the system harder to understand, harder to manage, and ultimately less effective. And this is where AI starts to make a real difference. Instead of trying to hard code every possible scenario, AI can look at patterns, profile situations, and come up with decisions that are both practical and optimized for cost as well as customer experience. A good example is fulfillment from stores. Imagine you have an inventory at a store where the products are about to be marked down, and the traditional system might always choose the warehouse because it is the cheaper to ship from there. But an AI-driven approach can take a step back, look at the bigger picture, and if fulfill from store helps avoid markdown losses, even at a higher shipping cost, the net outcome is actually more profitable while also improving the customer experience. So it is really about moving from rigid rule-based decisions to something far more adaptive, contextual, and outcome-driven.
In one word, define successful global operations today.
Well, it has to be resilience. Uh, the adaptability, the ability to react to unpredictability and still come out on top is what will differentiate a successful global operation from the non-successful.
I think I have to fully agree with what Gopu just said. Resilience is indeed the key differentiator.